No, I think you should call somebody.
Ma'am, are you all right?
I can't breathe.
Oh, God, I think she punctured a lung.
Ah, damn it. Look at my foot. It's already starting to swell up.
Family Guy has gained a great reputation over its long-running history, and it has reached the status of being one of the best cartoon shows ever. But did you know that it also has some animation errors hidden in its episodes? Well, we might not have discovered every single one, but here's a list of some animation errors that you can find in Seth MacFarlane's iconic show.
Yeah, that's great. Listen, those kids on board?
Yeah, about that. I don't think I can go through with it.
Peter, listen, without death, the world would be a terrible place. Imagine a world where Hitler was still alive. Look, Peter, all you gotta do is sit there. The plane is gonna crash in L.A. Pilot error, big mess, everybody dies.
Peter's friendship with death might be one of the funniest relationships that the series has ever rewarded us with. But there's something strange in this episode. When Peter is in the airplane talking to death, we see that there's a red napkin right next to our ghostly friend. Well, a couple moments after, Peter is back on the phone and we can see that the napkin is brown instead of red. Funny, isn't it?
Studio.
2 minutes, everybody. 2 minutes.
Geez, full house. Well, look who came crawling back.
Peter, have you seen my wheelchair?
Lois's talent as a director was never put in doubt at any point in this episode. But what about her dress? While she's enjoying the play that she directed herself, we see Lois put on her best dress to attend such an important premiere. The funny thing is that depending on the scene that we take a look at, the dress changes from blue to green. Theater at its best.
You were watching The Boys again, weren't you? It's that steward, isn't it? The one who looks like Tab Hunter. Don't forget it. Let's just get on the bloody plane and go home.
Our tickets were in the bags.
Flight 85 to Providence is now departing.
That's not going to stop me.
The Road to series include the best Stewie Brian adventures to ever be created, but we've found some funny errors. Stewie and Brian left Teddy Bear Rupert in charge of their suitcases, and they ended up getting stolen. But that's not everything about this scene. When Stewie comes back to talk to Rupert, his head and his shoulders overlap for a brief second. Also, in the same scene, there's a moment when Brian's hand gets chopped for a moment. Too many mistakes for such a great episode.
Gentlemen, we need to talk. My wife says you're trying to get kids to smoke.
That's just not true.
Well, what about this toy?
Peter, it's just a doll with a cigarette. I mean, Barbie has a dream car, but you don't see every 8-year-old kid driving. They're just fun toys.
Those bastards turned a whole generation of Americans into smokers with their damn subliminal advertising.
Timmy, where's Lassie?
She's out in the orchard, Ma. Peaches are coming in mighty early this year.
Smoke.
You know what they say, Timmy. Early peaches, long summer.
Smoke.
This episode might be one of the most controversial episodes from the series, since it encourages kids to smoke, and Peter even ends up being elected as the president from the Happy-Go-Lucky Toy Company. We found some really funny goofs in this episode. When Peter first shows the Babies Smoke a Lot toy, we can see that it has the cigarette right in its mouth. But when the toy is shown a couple of moments later at the Griffin family dinner, we see that the toy holds the cigarette with its hands. These toys are always evolving and changing.
Wonder what the hell's down there. Judd Hirsch.
Hey.
What's going on?
Nothing.
Peter might become blind in this episode, but maybe he wasn't the only blind person in this episode. Right at the start of this Family Guy classic, we see that Peter is enjoying a little bowling night with his friends. When the episode starts, you can see that Peter is wearing some special bowling shoes, but flash forward to some seconds after, and you might see that something strange has happened to Peter's feet. The bowling shoes have changed to his usual shoes. Somebody got colorblind here, or maybe Peter always carries another pair of shoes in his pocket.
Obi-Wan!
Boy, you got here just in time.
No!
The Star Wars special is one of Family Guy's most famous episodes, and probably we can say that it's also one of the best in the whole series. Even if this is considered a cartoon masterpiece, we found one really cool goof that was worth showing. After Stewie as Darth Vader and Herbert as Obi-Wan Kenobi's lightsaber fight ends, we see that our good guys are trying to save a couch from the catacombs of the Death Star. Even if this gave birth to the famous Save the Couch moment, if you take a great look, you might find a small animation error here. After Stewie and his stormtroopers go to catch our protagonist, we can see that Stewie is wielding a blue lightsaber instead of his usually red one. This is so fast that you'd probably miss it.
My baby boy got beat up by a girl.
What was weird was that she was crying, but the way she was standing over me made it look like I was crying, which was weird.
Peter, what exactly are you worried is going to happen because of this?
World War V.
Peter, we've been over this. There has to be a World War III and IV first.
How funny is it to see a super buff Stewie? After Stewie gets beat up by Susie Swanson, Peter decides that he has new plans for his son, and to solve this, he gives him steroids. Stewie gets super buff and has some great moments in this over-the-top episode, but we found a very cool goof in one concrete scene. When Lois is healing Stewie after he comes down with lots of wounds, we can see that every one of the kitchen's chairs are brown, but later we see that suddenly one of the chairs has changed from brown to blue in the blink of an eye. Stewie is not the only one transforming in this episode.
I love you.
Fuck off.
Here we are talking about another awesome Star Wars special. This episode might represent an awesome representation of the classic blockbuster, The Empire Strikes Back, and we found some of the best moments from the movie reenacted here with a very comical tone. One curious moment in which we found a small yet funny error is the moment in which Stewie, portraying Darth Vader, is trying a new carbon freezing method and uses Peter as his test subject. The cool thing is that when Peter gets drowned in the carbon material, he has his hands tied to each other, but as soon as they get him up, his hands are untied and he's able to put his pants down. This Peter is such a funny guy.
Good Lord! I am a genius!
What is it?
Don't you see, Brian? My machine did work. It created an evil clone of me. That's why I didn't feel more evil. All the evil energy went into him.
Evil Stewie is such a frightening character that he even makes some things disappear depending on the scene. This evil version of the Griffin's youngest son is probably the most villainous character that the series has ever seen, and his introduction scene is a very violent one. When evil Stewie first appears, he puts a remote control in Brian's mouth and nose as a way of hurting and torturing him. After Stewie helps Brian with this, we see that evil Stewie starts a brawl with our two protagonists, and the funny thing is that suddenly the batteries from the remote control disappear from the living room's floor. This episode is really violent, but we laughed a lot at some of its gags.
Well, well, look who it is.
Who is it?
It's me, Peter. I'm standing right here.
This is a glass eye, Peter. They had to remove the one you shot.
I thought being rich would solve all my problems, but all it did was make me forget what was important.
What would you do if you won the lottery? Well, Peter was a really lucky guy in this episode because he won the big prize. Even if winning the lottery is a great thing and you have to celebrate it, Peter forgot about his friends and he treated them really poorly after he became rich. At the end of the episode, Peter comes back to the Drunken Clam to apologize to his friends Quagmire and Joe, and this encounter created a very cool animation error. While our protagonists are drinking at the Drunken Clam, we can see that depending on the frame of the scene, Joe appears and disappears behind Peter. This is really strange because the camera moves in a way that it's always supposed to show Joe, but nobody's there. You have to stay humble, even if you win the lottery.
He's my boyfriend. We love each other. We said it and everything. A little help.
Look out, the ship is sinking! The Griffins faced a dangerous situation after their ship nearly wrecked in this episode. But do you find something strange in this scene? Well, if you take a look at the floor right at the start of the scene, you can see that there's a big hole in the ground of the ship. But right after we see Meg on the balcony, the floor is magically repaired and without any hole of water. They're safe now.
Time to sleep in heavenly peace.
Wow, looks like that baby is all wet. Classic Woody. This is Woody.
Wait, where's Santa? After discovering the identity of that Santa at the mall, both Meg and Stewie have a small crisis. And due to that, Stewie tries to drown himself in the mall's pool. If you take a look at the scene, we can see that Seamus and Woody were nowhere to be found. And in the ending of the scene, it's possible to find them right behind the fountain that Stewie jumped into. What a cool moment.
Hey, Jerome.
Hey, Peter. I have some bad news. My mama, she's dead.
Oh, man, that sucks, Lois. Your friend is probably just jealous.
Peter!
There's nothing left for me here, so I'm coming home tomorrow.
Look at the mess this bull made. Peter and his friends were spending a calm and cool afternoon at the Drunken Clam when things suddenly went south with this bull. After the bull becomes crazy, he starts to destroy everything inside the Drunken Clam. But after the chaos is over and everything is calm again, we can see that the TV is left untouched, and Peter is even watching ESPN right after the bull destroyed it with its horns. It's even funnier to see this when, right after that, the TV has a clear hole from the bull's horns.
Now, since we're all planning on drinking, I called us a pumpkin.
Wait for me!
And so, whoever fits in this slipper will be my princess. Or prince. I'm bi.
Fairy tales always have a very special place in our hearts, but this one came with a very cool error to notice. When Cinderella's castle is first shown, it has the chimney on the left side of the house. But every single other shot that we can see outside of the castle, the chimney is placed on the right side. What a magical castle this is.
Then this is the camp I choose. Yay! I get to go to space camp. Thanks, Mom and Dad. You guys are the best parents ever.
Would you excuse me a moment? These are mine now.
Hey!
Oh, honey, when we accepted those mugs, we knew this could happen.
Chris ended up being a hero in this episode after saving his family from a space catastrophe. But just take a look at the background of the living room in this scene. If you look closely, you might notice that there are two pictures in the background, but in the moment where Chris hugs his parents, one of those photos is gone. Well, maybe they also went to space. So there you have it, Family Guy fans. Those are some cool goofs and animation errors that we've found in your favorite show. If you liked the video, please subscribe to our channel so we can provide you with even cooler and funnier adventures from the Griffin family. Until the next time, goodbye.
God, I'm looking forward to this week. Freaking swelled foot all week.
You know, you should probably go ahead and shut that off.